A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock myself?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The Dungeon Labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
Presentation. Alrighty, for the very first time here on Turn 200, it is time for some Maximum Velocity Racing League action. So excited to be bringing you 20 races of Max Velo this season. And it's all right here on Turn 200. My name is Tommy Cook. Some of you may know us, some of you may not. I'm sure we'll have a few new people floating around here tonight. My broadcast partner, as always, is the one punching all the buttons, making everything look nice and neat for you. That is Matt Williamson. Welcome to a brand new league. It's a whole new cast of characters, for the most part anyway, that we get to look forward to seeing here for the very first time in an unofficial capacity, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, it's always exciting to, kind of get ourselves introduced to a brand new group of drivers. Usually a little bit of a feeling out period for us as well. I think a lot of these guys have raced together before, but maybe even some new guys kind of racing with each other here tonight as well. So it's a night of firsts for us and maybe for some others, and looking forward to getting to know some of these drivers that we have in this series and see what we have going on here.
And there are 3 names in the field, and rather in the league, that will be familiar to those of you who are followers of Turn 200 already, and our flagship series Truck 200. 3 rather successful drivers in that series, if you will. Scott Patton, Justin Michael, James Lehman. They are the 3 brains behind this operation, if you will, or 3 of the brains anyway, behind the return of Maximum Velocity Racing League. Those 3 are always 3 to watch here in Truck 200. So I would imagine in their own league, they're not going to stack the deck against themselves. You wouldn't think anyway. Yeah, it's should be exciting to see what these 3 are going to bring and what everybody else has got in store for us. While we got a minute here, Matt, why don't you bring up the schedule and see what we're looking at here? It is it's a pretty fun mix of tracks here.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at the schedule here real quick for you. A lot of races on this schedule, and like you mentioned, a lot of fun tracks. So, I don't know. I'll let you kind of go on down the line and maybe talk about a few that stand out here for us. And unfortunately, my partner has gone mute here for a second. I think one of the ones that stands out most for me is Chicagoland. We love Chicagoland. It's kind of near and dear to our hearts here on Turn 200. So always nice to have a little return to a track that the NASCAR series no longer go to.
3 road courses. Love it. Knoxville in Iowa, not Tennessee. Also love it. Starting the season off at the new Atlanta as well. Wild way to kick things off.
I
We
mean, that
know
is a bold move.
for sure. Yeah, a lot of great races on here, and I mean, you can't go wrong with a lot of these tracks. And the track we're at tonight, mind you, for the final practice race, before we really get into it in a couple of Thursdays here, Las Vegas is going to close things out. You got a chance to race Las Vegas. It's been a few weeks now, but with the one of the recruitment races with the Venom Truck Series, what did you make of your time out on Las Vegas?
You know, I had a blast. Now, we had a night race at Las Vegas, and I mean, it really kind of races more like a pack style race, or at least with the setup that we were using in that race that I was in. You're kind of able to tack onto each other, and as long as you carry some momentum through the corners, you're going to be just fine. What kind of gets you in trouble is if you have to check up for anything, make a little mistake, you can lose positions pretty quick. But if you keep the momentum rolling, you can really roll it pretty good around the outside and get some good momentum down the straightaways. I think that's kind of a key to pass. You got to set yourself up for that.
So we are about 30 seconds away from concluding qualifying here. It's 5-minute, 3-lap qualifying here for tonight's racing action. And not too long ago, Ashton Crowder just put himself to the top of the board by quite some distance, I might add, over Justin Michael, who was on provisional pole right before that. And you mentioned it being a night race. It's sunset right now. The sim is on 2x speed, so it is going to finish under the lights here in Las Vegas the way it should. Getting ready for the final practice race before the regular season here for Maximum Velocity in 2023, and this is how the field will come to green. With Ashton Crowder taking the pole here tonight, Justin Michael will be starting on his outside, and as we move down the list here, drivers and fans alike, you're going to tell me if I'm pronouncing names wrong. That is part of the reason we're here tonight, is to make sure that we're saying the names correctly. So I believe Don Milkowitz made a couple of starts with the Venom Truck Series. So he is back in action here today on turn 200. Kerry Cleaver will start to his outside. William D. Kirk and Joe Marks on row number 3. Michael Milfelt Jr. In the 7th starting position with Christopher Howell, who was fastest in practice at 8. Jack Watts and Charles Widner there round out your top 10 starters. James Lehman, familiar face here on the channel, will start in 11th. Heath Smith to his outside. Wally Turheimer in 13th. John Pansola in 14th. Scott Patton there back at 15th. Brad Slagle in 16th. Chris Voiles and Chris Mulhall there on row number 9. And Nick Taylor and Brian Troy then round out your top 20 starters. Andrew Schulte and Greg Mall then 21st and 22nd. Doug Heveron and Matt Burkhart, 23rd and 24th. Bill Paradise, 25th. And let's go ahead and get the track conditions here, as with that is the look at your starting lineup. And then I'll go ahead and give us kind of what we're looking for here for what we would normally expect with tires and fuel and fast repairs and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's first of all take a look at that weather, because that can really be important here. And you mentioned that it was at sunset, so might be kind of the same thing. We might get into the nighttime here. Well, 68 degrees is the track temperature, so it's going to be plenty cool. We won't have too much slipping and sliding around in the trucks here. Usually really wouldn't anyways, but especially with the track conditions that we have here tonight.
Sorry, I had to step away for just a second. 75% fuel capacity for these trucks here tonight. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure on the tire situation, but no fast repairs. This is the real deal as far as the league admins are concerned here tonight. Trying to scroll through to find where it says. Oh, I'm not sure, but it's going to be 90 laps here tonight. It's somewhere very obvious, and I just can't find it. This Discord is laid out immaculately for the Maximum Velocity Racing League Discord server. Justin Michael has done a fantastic job with it, and he did a pretty good job in qualifying, but he was out-qualified by Ashton Crowder. As the pace truck hangs left into the pits, we're about to get underway for 90 laps here tonight at Las Vegas for Maximum Velocity on turn 200. Michael will tuck right into line behind the 27 of Crowder. Now we'll swing to the outside. Like you said, it's hard to get separation here.
Yeah, definitely hard to get separation. And the one thing that I know about Justin Michael from what we've seen from him is he's usually not too aggressive at the start of these races, but he is all over the back of the 27 right now, maybe looking to get to the front early.
There he goes from the top down to the bottom, and Michael is up to the lead. Justin Michael tied as one of the top winningest drivers in the old rendition of the Maximum Velocity Racing League. Factoring in their Truck Series starts and their Super Speedway Series, he has 13 victories in Maximum Velocity competition. As Crowder in second right now, looking for a bump maybe from Milkowitz and Kirk as they battle side by side for third.
Yeah, Milkowitz, he was able to get a huge run down the backstretch. That's kind of what I was talking about a little bit earlier. It's a great way to set yourself up for some passes, but early on here in the run, everybody's going to be able to use the bottom lane and kind of stay there, get good grip, and get a good drive off for right now. So Milkowitz has actually dropped another spot here running that outside.
Looking back further in the field, two drivers are up 5 spots from where they started. One of them is Scott Patton. The other one is Nick Taylor. Patton just cracked the top 10 there. Taylor just inside of the top 15 here as lap number 5 is going up on the board. If you're hanging out with us here tonight, drop us a chat. Love to hear from some of the new folks that are going to be here for the long haul for Maximum Velocity Racing League. And let us know who you're rooting for, too. It's always good to know, so we don't badmouth the wrong people.
And a couple of packs have kind of broken up here. It's about the top 10 or 12 all in a pack, and then behind them is the rest of them. Oh, man, really tight there. But that was between Kirk. Almost made it 3 wide for a second.
Michael now on the front bumper of Ashton Crowder with William Kirk trying to make it work with Milkowitz behind him. Oh, that is tight quarters there. A little bit loose there from the 87 as he went up to facilitate a block. Man, oh, man.
And, yeah, I mean, I kind of said pack style. I wasn't sure it would be this pack style. I mean, this is this looks like a super speedway at this point.
2 around. Are we going to get a caution? I think it's the 88 of Christopher Howell. I'm not sure we're going to go yellow. He may have been the only one to go around, but I'm surprised because he went around in front of half the field. So that is definitely split this field in half here as we work lap number 8. And in the midst of that chaos, William D. Kirk led across the line, and now Justin Michael on the outside is fighting back for the race lead. It's a big if whether things are going to settle down or not, but we might have to go back and take a look at that if we get an opportunity.
Yeah, if we get an opportunity, I think I have it racked up here, but we'll see if we even get there. We have some intense action to watch here right now.
Man, Kirk right up in front of Justin Michael. Over the radio, Christopher Howell says he didn't hit anything, which is, again, surprising. He went around right in front of the entire field, it seemed like.
Well, not only that, I mean, right down onto the inside wall as well.
Yeah.
He did a great job of keeping it off.
Ask Jeff Gordon. It's hard to keep it off the inside wall here once you start tracking that way. So Justin Michael has gotten back out ahead here. And don't look now, the 155 of Michael Milfelt Jr. in the good old Kenny Schrader-inspired Federated Auto Parts truck livery there. He is creeping up into the picture here. Don Milkowitz, Ashton Crowder still rounding out your top 5. Other trucks in this group, Charles Widner? Widner. We're going to go with Widner, and if I'm wrong, then he could be mad at me. That's fine. He is in 6th right now. Kerry Cleaver is sort of hanging on to this group here. He is in the 7th position. Then it's a big gap back to the 0-4 of Joe Marks, who looks like he's got some left side door damage on that truck. So maybe struggling to hang on here.
And this front pack is pretty much just 7 trucks at this point. And Cleaver is just trying to carry some momentum, stick on to the back of it here. Pretty close quarters. The 95 of Widner is going to get another spot here. That's up to 5th. Fanned out pretty good a little bit farther back here. This is back just outside of the top 10. The 50 of Lehman, he's trying to work his way up. He has actually dropped a few spots. The top mover right now is Chris Mulhall, and he is in 8th place. He's up 10 spots.
All right. It's a good run so far for the 11 truck, and now up front, here goes Kirk to the outside of Justin Michael. Just when we thought things might single file out for a little bit, the 9 decides, nah, no more of that. And it'll be Kirk at the line, not by much. 9 1,000ths, in fact. But Michael in an all too familiar position here on this channel, especially. Leading or battling for the lead. Side-by-side battle for 3rd as well. Man, no room given here.
And then you have Crowder back here. He's behind that battle for 3rd. He's like, well, what do I do? Just sit here and try to push somebody out. I mean, he gives a little push to the 155 of Milfelt, and Milfelt is able to clear.
Behind this lead group here, pretty much everybody has gotten single file. They are working hard to try and track down this top group here. The gap between Cleaver and Mulhall, Cleaver in 7th, Mulhall in 8th, right now is about 0.6 of a second. That gap is coming down as well. So this double file racing here in the lead pack is helping the rest of the field catch up here.
Well, I'd like to get a great look at this double file racing here. I'd like to go on board with Kerry Cleaver in the 69.
I tell you what, the 27 of Ashton Crowder almost made it 3 wide there. It was close.
And now on board with the Widner. He's in 5th. And the top 3, really the top 4, have all just been trying to find their lane, a little bit of clean air to try to make a run here.
So remember, 75% fuel capacity here tonight. So where do you think that's going to put us? Lap 30, before or after?
At 75, I would think it would probably be just a tad after. But you know, it's been a little while, so.
Uh-oh, here we go. 3 wide for the lead. Kirk not giving room to Michael up top. Crowder on the bottom. Oh, that is tight.
I don't think it was just tight. I think there might have been a little bit of contact.
It wasn't tight. It just was. Michael back in control. Man. Door banging on lap 20 at Las Vegas.
You mentioned it.
Sorry, go ahead.
You mentioned it at the top of the broadcast. This is going to be the race that closes out the season. And depending on how the points are shaping up at that point, this one could be pretty wild.
Absolutely. These guys are pros. You could tell that straight away. They are making aggressive moves. They are commanding the space on the track, and so are their opponents. And, I mean, hardly anybody has put a fender wrong so far. Will that stay that way? Maybe not. But for now, I mean, color me super impressed. Not that I'm anybody, but, you know, I am the broadcaster, so.
Wow, look at him getting a big head already.
Oh, yeah, big ego.
Just a practice race.
Crowder with a bit of a run. Michael's going to take it off the middle here.
Something that Justin Michael does really well is he does a good job of kind of almost like dictating the race with the rest of the competitors. You know, if he wants to sit back and then go towards the end of a run, he will. If he wants to go flat out speed, he can do that as well. And then kind of control where everybody ends up in between. Then it's something uncanny and spectacular.
Now, it may sound like a little bit of favoritism here for those who don't know, but we mentioned it at the top of the broadcast. Justin Michael, Scott Patton, James Lehman, they've run in another league here on Turn 200. We've seen what they can do. So once we get a little bit of a Rolodex of knowledge about our other competitors here, we'll spread the love a little bit more. But Michael is very accustomed to being in booth 200 at the end of these races. I will say, if Justin is where he wants to be at the first pit stop, it usually is not going to go well for most other of the drivers. Like you said, it controls every aspect of the race very, very well.
Somebody else that can do the same is, and we've also had him on the channel, it's Scott Patton. He is up to 8th place, just made a pass on Kerry Cleaver. Cleaver's dropped a couple of spots here. Chris Mulhall is up to 7th now, so he's gained 11 positions from the start.
Wow, Ashton Crowder way to the top side, like running the Larson line up by the wall. It was a wild swing. He actually had a look underneath of Michael for the lead in turns 1 and 2. But a big run down the front stretch here. Maybe that's what he's looking for.
Well, towards the end of the runs, I feel like that's, for me anyways, that's what works best for me, of course. It depends on what the setup dictates and just kind of what you're most comfortable with. But I always find late in the runs here that the top side is the most preferred for me. Kind of run the most consistent laps and get huge runs down the front and the back stretches.
There you go. Huge run inbound. Crowder to the bottom. Oh. He's clear up. Toy. Michael with a crossover, though. Oh, somebody just outside of the top 5. I think just brushed the wall, maybe got into it a little bit harder than that. I couldn't see who it was. But all right, topside paid off almost immediately for Ashton Crowder there. If you're Justin Michael, do you take notes and move up top? Not really, I guess.
Not really, just kind of run in the middle, although, you know, earlier on really fresh tires, everybody was right down on the line, and Michael decides to kind of run the middle there. Crowder did run right on that white line, though, through turns 1 and 2.
So a quick rundown through the field here before we get ready for pit stops here shortly.
And here's a couple of pitters actually right now.
There you go.
Nick Taylor, Kerry Cleaver.
Should have done it last lap. Nick Taylor, Kerry Cleaver, the first two to pit road. Ashton Crowder, Justin Michael, William Kirk, Michael Milfelt, and Charles Widner, your top 5. Don Milkowitz, Chris Mulhall, Scott Patton, James Lehman, and Heath Smith, now your top 10. We'll see who else is going to get drug on a pit road this time. Here comes Justin Michael. Michael into the pits. He's going to bring the 9 of Kirk with him as well. Looking for black flags. Greg Mall has a meatball flag, but he picked that up about 10 laps ago. Brian Troy, Joe Marks, Doug Heveron also on pit road.
Here's a pass for position right in the middle of these green flag pit stops. Mulhall is looking to gain another one, and I think Milkowitz is coming to the pits here.
Well, I tell you what, Mulhall just about got a left side full of Charles Widner. It was close. So yeah, Milfelt, Widner, Patton, Milkowitz, Terheimer, Watts, Bill Paradise in as well. That is a classy name. And a classy number, too. 556. That's a great-looking number on the side of that truck. Christopher Howell, who, again, was a solo spinner earlier, is on pit road. Here's Ashton Crowder from the lead. James Lehman in as well. Heath Smith, Brad Slagle, John Pansola. Pretty much most everybody except for Chris Mulhall and Andrew Schulte are in the pits right now, or have been on pit road already.
And it sounds like Mulhall is coming in this time as well, yes. Oh, and Schulte, wow, he got super loose trying to hit the brakes coming off of turn 4. I think he got it closed down in time.
No black flags on that pit cycle. That's some pretty handy work there by the drivers. And some pretty handy work by Matt Williamson as well to call lap 30 out. That's some quick maths.
Quick maths, and I mean the guys that came in just the earliest, I mean only by a lap from about a third of the field. I mean they're pretty much just splitting this race into thirds. The lap 30, lap 60, and then obviously 30 more laps till the end of the race. A few of them decided to push it just a little bit farther and maybe setting up for only like maybe a 22 to 24 lap stint at the end if we go green this whole time.
And we're right back to battling for the lead here between Justin Michael and Ashton Crowder. I mean, nose to bumper. Almost quite literally there through 3 and 4. Crowder wants to get through here. And he will.
He will, as he was trying to get up to speed off of pit road. Michael came blasting by him. Whew, boy.
Now these two are now 2 seconds clear of William Kirk, who is back up to 3rd. Scott Patton up 11 spots, 15th to 4th. And Michael Milfelt rounds out your top 5. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, you just said it. Patton and Milfelt are in quite a heated battle here themselves. This is for the 4th position.
Scott Patton, if you had to press me, I believe a 2-time winner in Truck 200. I don't think he snuck a third one in on us. For sure a winner at Auto Club in the season finale. Also in Worldwide Technology Raceway.
Well, there's a little pack forming here. This is around, I believe this is 6th place, so it'll be Cleaver. And then Turheimer, Mulhall, and Milkowitz are all in this. A nice little group forming.
Oh, Milkowitz! Wow! Great save, though.
And Turheimer with the Dutch Brothers paint scheme. I love it. That's like a 90s throwback looking Dutch Brothers paint scheme. Looks awesome.
So the slip up there by Don Milkowitz is going to allow James Lehman now to close up to this 13. Milkowitz still in range of Mulhall here, so he could potentially bring maybe 3 more people back up with him as Lehman, Schulte, Smith, and Nick Taylor and Jack Watts also right there. Meanwhile, up front, Ashton Crowder has put a couple of lap trucks between he and Justin Michael. The gap has opened up to about a second between Crowder and Michael here.
Crowder must be listening to the broadcast, listening to us praise Justin Michael and say, well, I'm going to show you fellas what it's really like.
Going back to the original incarnation of Maximum Velocity, if you're looking for Ashton Crowder's name, I don't think you're going to find it. I think the timetable for the original dissolution of Maximum Velocity was around 2017. So you've had quite a few guys from the ranks of the original Maximum Velocity go on to the Coca-Cola eNASCAR Series and Road to Pro and elsewhere, wherever they want to go. Really, it's quite the list of folks. Some of them back here for this season. Andrew Schulte has won races in the original Maximum Velocity, as has Justin Michael. Somebody just got up into the wall. I think it was Joe Marks. And he is absolutely flying it onto pit road. Yeah, I think he's maybe calling it a night here.
A little bit farther back, we talked about that big pack forming, and it's getting a little bit bigger. Mulhall has found his way to the front of that pack. He's in 7th now, but they have caught Charlie Widner and then Milfell as well.
So that is Milfeld all the way back to, I believe, Heath Smith or Andrew Schulte. Schulte is trying to catch up to this group. We'll see if he can. But back to James Lehman for sure, and a couple of lap trucks in the mix here as well, I believe.
And Scott Patton has gotten all the way up to 3rd now. He got by Milfeld. We saw them battling for a bit, and has also gotten by Kirk.
So Kirk now looking underneath of Patton to try and get himself back on the podium, drifting up the track there a little bit. That fake tire mark there always throws me off on Scott Patton's truck every time. Right when I think I'm used to it, I'm not. But it has been a little bit since we've seen the Bandit Motorsports fellas here on Turn 200. With the last Truck 200 race, I believe, in April. And we'll be having some news next week about the return of Truck 200 on Monday nights in just a couple of months. But the schedule will be released next week.
Whoa.
Yes.
And I know that we had some, the drivers were able to vote for some tracks there, so that could be, be pretty interesting.
It's shaping up to be an interesting season already, and there's still room for change. There's still some outstanding ballots to be cast. So Pretty excited to get that one out there and have the drivers get ready for another interesting season. And if you're hanging out with us here tonight, the chat's pretty quiet. Let's get to know each other. Drop us a chat. Let us know you're hanging out. Let us know who you're rooting for here, as we are just past the halfway mark here in the final practice race of the preseason, if you will, for Maximum Velocity Racing League here. Expected to see all 20 of the races for Maximum Velocity right here on Turn 200 for their big comeback season here. It is a great partnership and some good dudes here running this league, and some great racers as well, including Ashton Crowder, who has gotten away by about a second and a half from Justin Michael, who is just chilling in no man's land. He's 4.5 seconds up, I guess 3.5 seconds up on his teammate Scott Patton, all the way back in third. So not in danger of moving up or down the leaderboard here.
And a battle for the top 5 is brewing something fierce. Mulhall was trying to get around Widner. That would have been for 6th. But now Widner has pulled right up to the back of Milfelt, who is in the 5th spot. And James Lehman has worked through some traffic here as well, up to 8th.
Heath Smith is close to latching onto this group as well. If he does, he might drag Kerry Cleaver with him. So this is potentially going to be an 8-position battle here. Probably about 10 to 12 laps removed from the next round of green flag pit stops. So everybody going to be jockeying here to get as high up on the leaderboard before they have to duck back into the pits. 75% fuel. If you're going to not run 100% fuel capacity, 75% is the perfect number, I think.
Oh, boy. Looked like Widner got a little bit of a push from Mulhall into turn number 1. Mulhall not quite able to take advantage yet. He's working on the bottom. Lehman is right there to try to pick up a couple spots if there was some dust that would fly. Hasn't flown yet.
Oh, he's going to kick up his own dust here and go down to the apron. 3 wide. And breaks it up a little bit, but still is going to try and pick off the 11 of Chris Mulhall here. Mulhall going to try and use some momentum to fight back. Nothing going just yet. So move Lehman up one more spot to 7th. And again, the 155 of Michael Milfelt is in 5th. So this is a battle from 5th to 13th. All together here on the track, as it should be. As we're continuing to watch this battle, just a note up front, Justin Michael continuing to fade away here from Ashton Crowder. It's almost up to 2 seconds now. So Crowder doing an amazing job out front here. And Scott Patton about 0.8 of a second clear on William D. Kirk as well for the 3rd spot. Now everybody single file here from 5th on back. As Lehman and Widner now going to go at it here for the 6th position.
For those drivers looking to split this race into thirds, we're just a few laps removed from when we'll probably see a couple of drivers duck into pit road.
So now I'm going to do what I was supposed to do last time and go through the field before green flag pit stops. Ashton Crowder leading, Justin Michael, Scott Patton William D. Kirk and Michael Milfelt right now your top 5. Chris Widner in 6th, James Lehman in 7th, Chris Mulhall in 8th, Andrew Schulte in 9th, and Don Milkowitz in 10th. Heath Smith 11th, Wally Terheimer in 12th, Kerry Cleaver in 13th, Brad Slagle 14th, Doug Heveron in 15th, Nick Taylor, John Pensilla, Jack Watts, Chris Voiles, Matt Burkhart, Bill Paradise, and Brian Troy, the 22 trucks that are on the lead lap. Christopher Howell. Really the only incident of the race so far involved that 88 truck. He is 1 lap down in 23rd, and we've seen retirements already from Joe Marks and Greg Mall. 24th and 25th is where they're going to finish up here tonight. Scott Patton is called out over the radio. He is coming to pit road this time, and he is going to kick it off. Nobody has been down pit road just yet. Until now.
Well, if you want a shot at the race win, I mean, he was quite a few seconds back from the leaders. Changing the strategy up, coming in a little bit early, that's kind of the move that you have to make if you want to put yourself in somewhat of a position to get up there up front. You got to do something. So I like the move.
Other early pitters here: Doug Heveron, Nick Taylor, Jack Watts, and John Pensilla. And Scott Patton is away. Here comes William D. Kirk into the pits. So he's the next to make the move from now the 3rd position.
Patton came out on the track kind of right behind this big pack we have, so if he catches them, might have a little trouble getting around him. Not sure it'll work in his favor, but we'll have to see. Everybody else may come in before he gets to them.
What might help him is if he catches the draft and then they pit. That would help him make up quite a bit of the time that he had lost to Justin Michael. Remember, he needed to make up almost 4 seconds to catch up to his teammate to battle for seconds. So every little bit is going to help here, even with the early pit stop.
And here come a couple of them. Whew,
and
boy.
that guy whoever that was, slowed down right in front of Scott Patton. Patton all the way out of the throttle, cranked the wheel to the right. So whatever advantage he had gained by the draft, he lost tenfold there with an evasive maneuver.
And the 3 that came in, it was Milfelt, Widner, and Terheimer.
That was quite the time to go kick pot for me on the on Scott Patton's machine. It was a handful of steering wheel. I'm sure a virtual left hand off the steering wheel and pointed to whoever was in front of him.
A couple more from that fight for the top 5. Mulhall and Lehman have come in.
Justin Michael took it off.
Justin Michael, yes, sir.
So that leaves Ashton Crowder out on track still from the lead. Michael had fallen back about 2.5 seconds, though. So Crowder trying the overcut here, and he has some time to play with to do it.
And
Don't want
here
to
he
drink.
comes.
No black flags yet.
So Schulte is staying out long again. Of course, he didn't really come down to pit road, I think, until right about lap 34. So theoretically, he can make it another maybe 4, maybe 5 laps if he really stretches it.
I was talking to James Lehman earlier tonight, and the one thing that he hit on that really resonated with me, he said, yeah, they could be talking about you on the broadcast about how well your race is going, and then all of a sudden you're just out of it. I'm like, well, our reputation precedes us. The old turn 200 jigs. And
Yep, the curse of the broadcast, boys. We've thought about making a T-shirt,
yes.
and if our reputation's getting that good, maybe we need to start production.
I think so. So Andrew Schulte. Tell you what, most of these guys are running the league livery, and it's got that little turn 200 on it. Looks nice.
Well, if you were paying attention, that was actually Scott Patton that just went around Schulte, so unlapping himself.
Indeed.
And it looks like Schulte is slowing down. Oh, I don't...
Trying to. Oh, boy.
Oh,
Yeah.
nope.
Way
Yeah,
too fast and the loop. Oh, man. Yeah, black flag for sure there for the 81, so he is the first of the night. I mean, if you're going to do it, might as well do it in the practice race. That's what it's for. You know, if it comes down to it and he's got, the championship on the line at the end of the season, you're going to want to know how to do that here.
Yeah, it's a practice race. No harm, no foul for sure. And we're right back at it. Justin Michael about 3/4 of a second behind Crowder.
Oh, how the turntables.
Or doesn't.
Or how the turn 200s.
Yep.
Thank you. I will say Michael had faded away to 2.5 seconds behind Crowder. And Crowder, of course, came into pit after Michael, but it surprises me that he made up that much ground just by Crowder staying out another 2 or 3 laps. You would expect a time differential like that at, I don't know, at a track that tires are maybe a smidge more important than they are here. At least to me. Do you disagree with that?
No, not at all. I mean, oh my goodness. Sorry, I'm watching a bit of a battle here. Instead of for 5th, it's now moved up to a battle for 3rd between a few drivers.
All right. Now, one of those is a lap truck, but Scott Patton and William D. Kirk still duking it out here for the final spot on the podium. The other truck there is the 88 of Christopher Howell, who, again, went around early in this race after being fastest in practice. So we have not really got to see what the 88 can do, but he is certainly making his presence felt right now, right in the middle of this battle for 3rd.
And I don't know when he came into pit. He may be on fresher tires and thinks that he can run a little bit faster pace right now.
Tell you what, I'm having to scroll up quite a ways to see. He came in about smack dab in the middle of the pit cycle here, so I'd say he's about on the same lappage of tires as Scott Patton is.
Wow, we mentioned the gap between Crowder and Michael. It has gotten massive here.
Yep.
It just in the last 3 or 4 laps since we talked about it, it's now up to 2.5 seconds. So Crowder is putting in some whirlwind laps here to try to close this one out.
Remember, Michael beat him to the pits by about 4 or 5 laps, made up all that time. But as soon as Crowder got some temperature in those tires, he was gone. That gap is going to continue to expand here.
Looks like the next closest battle on the track is between Lehman and Widner. This will be for the top 5. Lehman in the 50, Widner in the 95.
So that big party we saw from 5th down to 13th broke up a little bit there on the green flag pit cycle. Chris Mulhall is trying his best here to catch these two. He might be able to when it's all said and done. But behind him, Heath Smith in 8th is almost 3 seconds behind these two as they battle away. Scott Patton has let the 88 of Howell go past him and is basically bump drafting him to try and get away from the 9 of William Kirk.
Yeah, it's really crazy. I don't know if Howell just had a problem early in the race and...
Well, I mean, he had that spin. He was the one that went around.
Oh, okay. That would make sense. I couldn't remember. I'm glad you mentioned it.
Yes, he I think we never got a chance to look at it because they were battling so hard for the lead. Now it would seem irrelevant to go back and look at it, but I think he was either just inside or just outside of the top 10. He was fastest in practice, so either way, he was going to be working his way up the field here. He's quite obviously got the pace here to contend with the drivers in the top 5.
Well, what Patton has to worry about here with Kirk has a lap truck behind him as well. So with a tow off of Patton, a little push from behind, Kirk might be able to get to him pretty quickly here. Now, passing is a different story.
Yeah, big difference. So Doug Heveron is going to call it a night. And after his spin on pit road, should mention Andrew Schulte 2 laps down in 20 seconds. So, again, it's just a practice race here tonight. You know, everybody wants to win it, too.
Well, you know, some of the most fun ones is when there's really nothing to lose. Everybody's just letting it all hang out on the track, not thinking too hard about it. Sometimes those are the greatest ones to win.
James Lehman trying to do his darndest here to pull away from Charles Widner as Chris Mulhall has caught up to the 95 here. Boy, I tell you what, Ashton Crowder just made it through a huge gaggle of trucks. I mean, they were like 3 wide around him. Looked more like an air show formation than him trying to navigate lap traffic. The gap continues to grow, though. Crowder ahead of Justin Michael by 4.5 seconds already. Now, you're going to have to walk me through your math one more time because I'm a very slow boy. Are we good to the end? Do we need to make another pit stop here?
No, definitely good to the end. Everybody came in right around lap 30 to begin with, and then pit stops kind of started right around lap 58, but a few of our drivers stretched it to 33 and 34 on the initial stop. So definitely good to the end here, but if we do have an incident arise and we have to go to an overtime, those that came into pit on lap 58 might be stretching it, but I think we should be okay.
So we have lapped all the way up to 12. Brad Slagle right now, the last truck on the lead lap in the 052. He may fall victim here before the end of the race, but now, all of a sudden, the battle for third is back on. William Kirk is right back on Scott Patton.
Yeah, and these battles, this battle for third and then for fifth, have kind of yo-yoed a little bit here, but Kirk, he's right on Patton now with a little bit of help.
That's Brian Troy in the mix here. See if he can help the 9 accomplish his goal of getting on to the podium here. Trying to find some real estate up top. The door is shut. Scott Patton doing all he can here to hang on to third. Oh, Kirk just got in the grass. I heard him clip the grass. It's a very distinct sound.
Using absolutely every piece of real estate available here.
And then some. You know, they iRacing just said that they have reworked their entire natural terrain system because of the addition of Willow Springs recently, which is very bumpy and rocky. They have yet to rework the infield grass here, much to the I don't know. William Kirk is probably happy about that right now.
Yeah, for sure. Back here, this battle for fifth has actually changed hands.
All right.
Lehman has actually fallen 2 spots here.
And now Mulhall trying to make it work here on the bottom. Yeah, that's a big 2-spot swing there, but he's still hanging on as they're going to continue to battle side by side here.
And Mulhall and Widner were battling before this for the 6th spot, and now we're at it again, but this time for the 5th position. Oh, boy, Widner almost up all the way into the wall off of turn number 2.
Coming to 3 laps to go. No challenge up front. Still battling for third. Still battling for 5th. Oh, Brian Troy behind this battle for third. I thought he was going to come down and clip William Kirk. He got up into the wall.
We're going to continue to watch this battle for fifth, still side by side for the last 3 or 4 laps here. Basically, neither driver has given an inch.
At the line, white flag is out for Ashton Crowder. Justin Michael, second place is his to lose, and battling hard for third and 5th. Through the tri-oval, Ashton Crowder wins the final practice race of the preseason for Maximum Velocity Racing League. Justin Michael across the line in second, side by side for third. At the line it goes.
It's some contact. They're door banging for 5th. It was too close to call.
It is a tie across the line. Charles Widner over Chris Mulhall. Widner 5th, Mulhall 6th, Lehman in 7th. I mean, 0-0-0 at the line. Incredible.
If that was for the lead, that might have been the closest finish ever in iRacing.
Wow. That was incredible. And that was for 5th. Just think if these guys get the win on the line, what they are going to do. So at the tri-oval there, burnouts underway for your race winner here tonight. In pretty dominant fashion, Ashton Crowder.
We're doing
A reverse burnout.
We're doing reverse burnouts here.
The innovation. So we hope to hear from our podium finishers here before too much longer. But the burnouts are going to continue here for the 27. Let's go ahead and give you the full finishing rundown here. Ashton Crowder, of course, Justin Michael, and William D. Kirk. I said they were side by side of the line. I lost track of where I was at. Kirk actually with authority over Scott Patton there at the line to finish on the podium. Patton will finish back into 4th position. Charles Whitner then a tie for 5th, but he gets the spot regardless. Chris Mulhall then will finish in 6th. James Lehman in 7th. Smith will finish in the 8th position here tonight. Don Milkowitz in 9th. And Wally Turnheimer then will round out your top 10. Kerry Cleaver in the 11th position. Brad Slagle in 12th. The last truck on the lead lap is there goes the motor for Ashton Crowder. First truck 1 lap down is Matt Burkhart in 13th. John Pansilla in 14th. Jack Watts 15th. Nick Taylor in 16th. Bill Paradise in 17th. Christopher Howell then in 18th. Brian Troy 19th. Michael Milfeld all the way back to 20th after running in the top 5 most of this race here today. Chris Boyles 21st, Andrew Schulte then 22nd. DNFs for Doug Heveron, Joe Marks, and Greg Mall, 23rd through 25th. All right, let's see if we can find our 3rd place finisher here. William D. Kirk, are you floating around here somewhere? Yes, he is. He's in the open room. Uh-oh. So I was dragging people around earlier. Now I can't drag William Kirk up to the waiting room. That's a problem. Why can't I? I was able to drag earlier. I don't understand.
Well, if he's listening, maybe try to get in here if possible.
To the waiting room, please. Yes. Oh, there he goes. All right, we'll go ahead and drag him up now. We'll have to get that fixed. But William Kirk, your 3rd place finisher here tonight. Welcome to Booth 200. It looked like you were having a lot of fun there battling for the 3rd spot with Scott Patton there in the closing laps.
Oh yeah, it was a blast. He raced me good, and it was it was a lot of fun. I noticed he was getting a lot super tight, and my car really wasn't changing after the 20 lap mark. So I was just gonna sit behind him and wait for him to make a mistake, which he never did. And yeah, made it work. But yeah, he was definitely better than me. I just got a little bit lucky there with tire wear, but yeah, it was a heck of a lot of fun, especially with Justin Michael up there at the very beginning.
Now, you had a lap truck there trying to help you maybe in the closing laps there. What do you try and sort of signal the 44 to help you in any way, or is the sort of like a chips fall as they may sort of thing there?
Yeah, I don't really know a whole lot of these guys. I used to run with a lot of these guys 5-6 years ago, but this is actually my first night back in 5 years. So 90% of these guys I've never met. I don't really know what he was doing. Maybe he was a teammate with Scott trying to mess me up. I don't know. He didn't race me dirty or anything. It was just surprising, especially with 2 to go. He was, trying to make a move on the outside, which really threw me off. So yeah, it was the opposite of help. I was getting pretty irritated, if I'm being honest. But he's racing. He has every right to, so I'm not mad at him. But in the moment, I was saying some things out loud in my house.
Matt, what do you got here?
Hey, well, welcome back. Congrats on the podium on your first night back here in quite a while. Glad to have you here in Booth 200. Are you have any track that you're looking forward to the most this season, or any real expectations, or just kind of out here to have some fun?
Full transparency, haven't looked at the schedule. I'm terrible at short tracks, so anything besides those. But it's just a comeback. I mean, James Lehman, I've known him forever, and he asked me to do this, and I'm super excited too. And I mean, I just wanted to finish today. Leading laps and getting a podium is unbelievable. So I'd say honestly, we finished top 10 in points at the end of the season and lead some laps. That's good with me. I mean, a win would always be nice, but low expectations for the first season back. But yeah, just have fun, meet these guys.
Well, low expectations, but a great result here tonight. Anybody you want to shout out here?
My aunt's watching, so I appreciate that. She's been watching me for 9 years doing this, so she's great. But just you guys as well. I've heard you guys are the best out here, so
oh boy.
I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't heard of you guys because I've been gone for so long. But just in the last week, everyone's like, these guys are the best. So Thanks to you guys and then James Lehman again for helping put this together. Justin Michael, I think Heath was a big guy in this. Again, I'm really not sure, but yeah, everyone who did all this paid for everything and put it together. I mean, it's not easy. I've co-led a lot of leagues, and it sucks, honestly. So yeah, shout out to them, you guys, and yeah, thanks again.
Man, he gives himself low expectations and then comes in here and says that we're the best. Holy cow! Well,
yeah, you better, live up to the hype now. I called
yeah,
it out.
I guess so. Well, best of luck to you. We'll talk to you again soon, hopefully.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
All right, go from our first appearance of William Kirk to a many-time Booth 200 appearee, a runner-up finisher here tonight. He's back on the channel, Justin Michael. Welcome back to Booth 200. It's been too long. Second place here tonight. How are we feeling?
Yeah, I really like this track, and I mean, Ashton ran a really good race. He always does. He's one of the best drivers on here, so finishing second to him is really good, and I'll have to practice some more and get a little better to beat that guy.
What's it going to take? Was it in the pit strategy? Was it something on the track that you think you left out there?
I mean, the last pit stop, I took 2 tires just to try something because what I was doing before wasn't working for sure. So we tried 2 just to see if we could get out in front of him. And, that didn't work out the way we planned. So, but it's a practice race. So no harm, no foul. We didn't lose anything.
Matt, what do you got for Justin?
Yeah, nice practice race, good result. Tell me a little bit about the league and what it's taken to kind of get everybody back here together. Seems like a lot of these drivers haven't really been together for quite a while. Really excited that you asked us to do this. What's it taken to kind of get everybody back and get the league going back again here?
It's definitely taken a lot of hard work. It's I will say James Lehman, he's been doing most of the heavy lifting. He wanted to bring the league back. He Kerry stopped it, I don't know, it was like 5 years ago or so when we were all running together, and a lot of the old guys showed up, a lot of new guys, so we got a really good mix this time around, and we just put on some fun races. Nothing too serious, but we like to have broadcasts. So I run with you guys on Mondays, and you guys, call a great race every week. So you were at the top of my list when he was asking about broadcasters. So we definitely appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. We're happy to be here. It looked like a lot of fun out there tonight. Anybody you want to shout out from the podium?
Just everybody out there. Hopefully it was a good race. And again, for you guys for calling a great race, all the guys, the Bandit team, great teammates down there. And yeah, hopefully we'll, a couple weeks here, we'll get the season started and maybe we'll get some wins this time.
And that was going to be my final question to you. What's the expectations for the season for you?
Well, we don't do chase races and all that playoff stuff, so straight points. So it's whoever's the most consistent. It's going to be the best. So we just try to stay out of trouble, finish top 5s every week, and hopefully we'll be up there.
There you go. It sounds like a solid strat, and I think you're the guy to do it. We'll have to see, though. Thanks for the time. Appreciate it, and best of luck for the rest of the season, and good job on a P2 here tonight.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Another first-time appearee in Booth 200. He's your winner here tonight at Las Vegas. It's the 27 of Ashton Crowder. Welcome up to the broadcast booth. Fantastic race here tonight. All the craziness there in the opening stretch of the race, and then all of a sudden you find yourself out kind of in no man's land, out a couple of seconds ahead of the rest of the field, or continuing to battle away there. Does it kind of get boring out there alone? What are you focusing on as the race rolls along?
I wish it got boring. No, so we had to run pretty much a perfect race to beat Justin, because this is by far his best track. I haven't raced with him like seriously in probably 6 years or so. So being able to race against him again was really fun. But that first run though was really hectic. There's still not a ton of grip in the racetrack. It wasn't quite cold enough for us to really push through the whole run. So I knew, even though I was starting on pole, like I could give up a lot, and I did. Almost got too far back, and then towards the end of the race, I had so much tire saved up. I was able to run the wall in 3 and 4, and then get a run and pass Justin. And then from there, it was pretty not easy, I suppose, but it was just down to getting on and off the pit road, and executed that almost flawlessly. I think I probably could have gained like 3 seconds more, but that's like grasping at straws. So I'm really happy with myself and really impressed I was able to do that. I haven't ran a full race like this in a while, so yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That was going to be my next question. Something you brought up there when you started to track down Justin and sort of separate yourself from everybody else. All of a sudden, you moved up to the wall, and it took me by surprise. But then it wasn't even 2 laps later, and you were out front. Where how do you decide when to make that move? It looked like it was gonna be planned. Like, how do you decide when to go up top?
Well, it was definitely plans. I knew. I guess I was about sixth or so coming through. Like I knew where the air was good and where it was really bad. I know I couldn't run the middle because him having clean air, he can basically go flat out on the bottom, and then I'm just kind of stuck there. So I'm even less on the throttle in the middle, and I knew on the bottom I could have a shot, but it was going to be hard. So I figured about a lap or two before I was actually going to try to push really hard in 3 and 4, I'd run like half throttle, run the wall, just kind of test it out in 1, 2, and 3 and 4, kind of see where the grip was, and then as soon as I realized that there wasn't much in 1, 2, but there's a ton in 3 and 4, I was like, yeah, this is going to be pretty trivial and easy, and um, just having that confidence and being able to stay flat out. I mean, come off of 4 and get a great exit. I mean, it was one of those things where I'm like coming down the front straightaway, and I'm like, oh, I got him, and yeah, so made that pass happen. But yeah, it was just a matter of testing it out, seeing if it worked, and then as soon as I realized, I was like, yeah, it's good, and then WOT wide open and carry.
Matt, what do you got for the race winner here?
First off, congratulations. Great to have you up here in the booth. Just a couple quick things for you. What are you looking forward to most this season as far as a track or maybe racing some people in particular? And are we going to see any more reverse burnouts for the rest of the season?
I hope every race that I'm able to attend, I can do one. If I'm playing basketball, get a little celebration in there, have fun with it. I can't really do that out in the sim racing stuff because nobody can see me. But I get to show my personality a little bit after the race, which is fun. So yeah, hopefully a ton of those. I'll have to come up with a better burnout than that one, I think, because I really screwed it up. And just looking back on it, I couldn't get the car. Yeah, it was horrible. Tracks though, I don't really know. I looked at a little bit of the schedule, kind of glanced at it. And any mile and a half, I feel like I have a really good shot at. Short tracks, I don't really know because I don't have that much time on the sim anymore. Busy with like school and playing basketball and doing all of that. But yeah, I mean, I'm just looking forward to it. Looking forward to it as a whole. I used to race Justin a lot back in the day. He kicked my butt, so it's nice that I was able to kind of switch it up this time. And then like Greg Mall too. And we had some like practice races. I know I'm talking a lot, but we had some practice races like earlier in the week that had some other like guys I used to race with when I was a kid, and it's just nice to be able to be an adult and actually race them, and have a steady head on my shoulders. I think that's really cool.
I tell you what, Matt and I both talk a lot. So the thing is once you're up here in the booth, especially as the race winner, you can talk as much as you want. Well, I mean, we could stretch the thing out as long as it needs to go. But let's get some shout outs going for you here tonight. Anybody you want to say hi to? Any sponsors or anything?
Yeah, my grandparents downstairs right now watching me. And then my favorite basketball player in person of all time, Caitlin Clark. I used to shout out Justin Bieber on everything.
Yeah.
He's kind of out of the spotlight, but I got to shout out my girl Caitlin. And let's see, I got a WNBA game on right now, and Kayana Trailer's in it. So shout out to her too, and then the whole league, Justin, James, everybody. And then you guys for doing the broadcast. It sounds like you have good equipment because your mics sound really good. So I'm assuming the broadcast was good too. So I can't wait to go back and watch that whenever I have some free time. So
I don't know who's spreading rumors that we're actually good at this, but no, I
We
do.
got some big shoes to fill of
Yeah,
ourselves,
apparently.
apparently.
They just act humble about it, and then
Yes.
brag, and then brag
Yeah,
later.
definitely. Definitely very humble here. But
Yes, sir.
congrats on the win here. Looking forward to many more as the season rolls along.
Hopefully, go Hokies.
And James Lehman is in the waiting room. Should we get the Grand Poobah in here?
Yeah, I think so. Especially since it sounds like he's been doing, a lot of the legwork here with the league, getting the league back together here. Let's go ahead and hear from him.
We're gonna spring a live interview in on James Lehman here. You've gotten quite a few shout outs here tonight as the league proprietor, and we'll talk about your race here in a second. But talk about some of the efforts that you've put together to reassemble the crew here, if you will.
Man, I'd have to say it's very stressful. I didn't realize like how hard it would be to get a league up back and running, but I'd have to say it's a lot of help having Justin and Scott and Keith and my back pocket doing a lot of the work, doing a lot of the behind the scenes work for me and helping me with that. But mainly just getting this league back up and trying to get a lot of the guys that used to run this league 6 years ago back together was mainly my goal, because that was such a strong family, back in 2016 to 2019. So that was a big thing for me, and I'm glad I got majority of them back. So
It's I mean, we were only here for tonight, but I mean, definitely seems like a good group of guys. It seems like the preseason here has been a success. Has it gone the way that you wanted it to?
yeah, it's honestly, what was it? Last Thursday we had our last recruitment race. It was at Homestead, and we only had one caution, and I was kind of blown away by that. And then to come here and do our practice race, I was coming in here thinking that maybe we'd have at least 3 or 4 cautions, and we went flag to flag. I was pretty impressed. I was just like, I was sitting there talking to all my teammates down in Bandit, and I was just like, how the hell are we going green right now? It's just like, oh, like, this is a flat foot track. Somebody's got to smack off a wall at some point, and wreck. But no, I'm very impressed with everybody, and and if this is how the season's gonna go, a lot of green flag racing, I'm looking forward to it, because then it's gonna come down to who makes the least amount of mistakes is gonna end up winning this championship.
Now, as a driver, you were in the top 5 there late. Then you ended up behind an actual tie for the 5th position. What sort of notes did you take and are stashing away for the season finale here?
Take care of your tires, and then let's save the replay. I'm gonna have to watch how Ashton got around this track. I got to see what he was doing differently. He was almost 2/10 faster about midway through the run, and I don't know I wasn't up there to be able to see what he was doing, so I'm gonna have to go back and watch the replay and see what I was doing wrong. But mainly just take care of your tires and running the right line, the perfect line every lap, and being consistent was mainly what I saw.
I mean, it sounds like he was watching women's basketball for most of the race. To be honest, that's what I gathered from his interview, anyway. But Matt, what do you got here for James?
Hey, I mean, it's just great to have you guys back in the booth, and me and Tommy just want to thank you guys for thinking of us, and you guys have put a lot of work in to put a league together. We know how difficult that is, but trying to get people back from years ago has got to be even tougher. So we're just really glad that you guys thought of us, and we are so happy to be here broadcasting for you.
Yeah, of course. When me, Justin, and Scott jumped in your guys' league at turn 200 for that Monday night series, I was blown away by the quality and just the commentary of your guys' broadcast, and I love it. And I was just like, that's why I wanted you guys. You guys were my first pick, and I'm glad you guys decided to join.
Absolutely, we're happy to be here. Anybody you want to shout out here tonight?
Thank you to everybody at Max Velocity for coming out to this practice race. Hopefully we get a couple more people to show up for the first race on July 13th at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And thank you guys up here in the booth. Looking forward to watching the race after this.
Absolutely. Looking forward to many more interviews down the line here Appreciate the time here tonight.
Thank you, Matt.
All right, partner. That's
All
first Max Velocity broadcast in the books here tonight. All in all, I mean, we expected a high bar to be set in terms of the talent level, and I mean, there were few and very far between any better drivers than Justin Michael in our Monday Night League, and Justin Michael got beat tonight. Heads up. So that should speak to the quality here of the field. This is an exciting league with a lot of exciting, good drivers in it.
Yeah, I mean, this is, we broadcast a lot of great leagues here in the last couple of years, but, this is just a little bit different. Some people that have been together for a long time, seemingly, but really haven't been together for a number of years. I think it could wind up being a really special season. I'm just glad that we're here for it.
It's almost like going to like a 5-year high school reunion and asking everybody to play tug of war. That's sort of what it feels like. It's just somebody's going to end up in the punch bowl here about halfway through the season, I think. So that's going to be interesting. But the camaraderie's been great. The racing was great. A lot of excitement throughout the field here tonight, and no cautions as well. Although there should have been one, but even one caution is pretty remarkable for a track that packs up like Las Vegas does, especially at the beginning of the race. So. Hats off to all the drivers here. Looking forward to many great races, 20 in fact, in this season for Maximum Velocity Racing League. It'll all be right here on Turn 200. We appreciate everybody stopping by here tonight. On your way out, if you could, hit like on the stream and subscribe. That way you are notified whenever we go live. We will be live around this same time, around 9:40 Eastern, 8:40 Central, in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, we are at the new Atlanta Motor Speedway for the season opener, for the return of the Maximum Velocity Racing League. In terms of next week, we do not have a Tuesday night broadcast. The Venom Truck Series is off. They will be back in action in 2 weeks. We do have a Daredevil Series race next week at Twin Ring Motegi Oval. So the Daredevils on the move in the land of the rising sun. That's going to be a whole lot of fun after you got quite the spectacle last night. Shout out to John Kay, I guess. I've just decided that anytime I'm not here, we are not going to race, and John Kay is just going to be declared the winner, and I'm going to hit a random number generator for where everybody else finishes. I think that's going to be the plan going forward. Even if John Kay is not in the league, he is going to win the races. So that's just how that's going to go going forward.
Well, I kind of called it yesterday, and lo and behold, here comes John Kay to the win in his first ever start. So, looking forward. I think Twin Ring is going to be a pretty darn good race, and it sounds like there's a couple drivers really excited for it. So, it's going to be a good one.
So that'll be back in action next Wednesday. Again, no Tuesday or Thursday action next week. Hope everybody has a safe and fun 4th of July celebration for those of you celebrating here in the United States. For everybody else, I just hope you have a good week next week, and we hope to see you back here next Wednesday and in 2 Thursdays from now, where the Maximum Velocity Racing League will be underway officially at the New Atlanta. But until we meet again, for everybody here with Maximum Velocity, for everybody here at Turn 200, for the GOAT, Matt Williamson, I've been Tommy Cook. We say so long from virtual Las Vegas, where Ashton Crowder wraps up the preseason in style with a big victory. Have a good night, everybody.